Mokgatle. By profession, I'm actually a chartered accountant. And as luck would have it, when I started doing my articles, I realized that actually professionals weren't dressed really well. Professionals, would just, I don't know what to call it, but it wasn't really great. So I saw a problem and I saw a niche and I saw a gap. Um, and we started off with ties. So we were actually just saying, look, gents can't dress. How do we help them out? Let's actually just get them into a lovely tie that matches the outfit. And then we created these boxes. So what these boxes were essentially, it was a tie, it was a cuffling, it was stock. So everything was pre-planned. So you didn't need your girlfriend to dress you anymore. You pick up your box, pick the color, and Bob's your uncle. And that's how it really started. It started off as us selling ties, accessorizing, styling guys. And a lot of people would say, but where do you get your clothes? How come yours are tailored? What's happening here? What's happening there? And that's when we really then started to say, okay, maybe then there's a market and we need to now get into the suiting side, the shirting side, and start helping now, our professionals. And that's where it really started. It started with a need to get professionals looking professional and getting them to a level where, you walk into a doctor's offices, you expect a doctor to be in scrubs. Now you walk into a professional space, you expect them to look professional. And that's where it started. And that's how we got going in the space.
That's quite powerful. That's quite interesting, touching on a very important aspect of starting a business, which is actually being able to identify a need and satisfying that need. Sometimes people, will start businesses just because you have an idea, but I think it's always brilliant to start a business based on an identified need, because it means you will now not have a problem to satisfy the market or to sell your product, because there is a need that you have identified, ahead of time. Let's talk about your name. What does decorum mean and why decorum? I have no idea what it means. And I thought, I need to give you an opportunity to answer that as well.
So decorum in its sense is a way of
Decorum.
behaving.
Wait. Decorum. Because now I just say
Decorum.
decorum. Sorry.
Yeah,
Decorum.
it's a way of behaving. It's a certain level of behavior that you'd expect. So when you actually probably watched it in Parliament and it said, "Oh, caters, can we please have some decorum in the house? Can we
You
please
mean
have
that? I did not
that is
even.
decorum, 100%."
I know that one, but for some reason I separated the two. I thought it's some French name or something. I don't know.
So it's a way of behaving. It's a way of upholding yourself. So when you're in a decorum piece, there's a certain behavior, there's a certain level of opulence, elegance that you need to exude. There's a certain gentleman or a lady that we're expecting because you are in decorum. You're in a decorum piece. So we expect the level of decorum. How it started, actually, it's a name that was originated by a friend of mine, Kokamodi Lotsotle. And we had actually a project in our fourth year class for accounting, and he came up with a name. It was a group project, and he came up with the name. He actually taught us the name Decorum, and that's how the name started. When we then opened the business, I mean, the name was in a project. We then said, okay, well, it's actually a great name. It matches
Might
what
as
we
well.
do. We want a sense of decorum when you in our pieces, and there's a certain level that we expect, and we ran with it. I mean, shout out to KK. I mean, it was a brilliant name, and yeah, we've been running with the name since.
You need to trademark it in case he comes and says, you know what, I was the originator, so I need a piece of the pie. But anyway, I'm sure, nothing like that will happen. I also wanted to ask, what do you think causes, professionals especially to not really focus on how they look, and I'm talking high-end experts, like people who are good at their job, like these people deliver in terms of the work itself. But I don't know, do you think they forget, they are so consumed by the job itself, by the work, that, I can look however? What do you think is happening there?
It's quite an interesting phenomena because, before COVID, everyone actually, there was almost that sense of we care about how we look.
Sure.
And COVID hit, and all of a sudden, people really didn't care. It almost became as long as I deliver and that's it. But you forget that, we're humans. And as human beings, we actually want to look good. You want to see something that looks good and says, well, do I trust this person? Because everything boils down to trust. Do I trust this person with my money? Does this person look like a financial expert? If I walked in, I was in shorts and slops, and I said, I want to open up your heart and I want to actually just work on it, and I'm a doctor, you're going to look at me and say,
you're going to kill me.
do you actually fit the profile of actually unlocking my heart and start, operating on it? You start asking those kinds of questions. So it's
Mm.
very important that we understand that, the way you actually look or the way you present yourself to the world actually says quite a lot about you, because we
Sure.
first see a person and then we make a decision.
Mm.
Before you even open your mouth, I've already subconsciously judged you. I know it sounds bad, sounds
But
shallow,
it's the
but
truth.
that's
It's
the
the
world we
truth.
live in. It's the truth.
Mm.
We're very much about perceptions. And that first, call it 7 seconds, your brain's already decided, will I listen to this person or not? And then once that person opens their mouth, okay, let's hear what more you have. Is there intellect? Can you advise me? Do you actually fit the profile? And
Mm.
it's quite interesting that in South Africa, we've gone with the rhetoric of saying, oh, well, look, I mean, the richest billionaires in the world are wearing T-shirts, but that rich billionaire is wearing a Laura Piana T-shirt. That T-shirt's
Okay.
probably more than, your car. So we don't understand these things. We're always going about aesthetics and understanding, but he's a billionaire. He can afford to wear a T-shirt. He's already
Mm.
made his name. He built the
You're still
brand. Has he
building,
built it?
and you're still
100%.
building on your side.
100%.
I think that's very, very interesting. Now, as a CA, I know that you work with your wife in the business as well. She's also a professional in the attorney in the legal space. I think you said she's an attorney.
Yeah.
So now you are professionals. What in the name of the living God do you know about fashion? And I'm saying that with so much grace, like in a respectful way. That I mean, the fashion industry is scary, but is it because maybe you decided to niche and focus on the outlook of professionals that helped you guys, or did you learn things along the way? What did you learn? Were there things that shocked you, or yeah, talk to us about that. Lessons learned.
It's one of those things where, I've got a friend called Azola. I mean, back when we were in varsity, we spoke about this, and it's crazy that he actually says to people, I'm not shocked of the things that you're doing now because you spoke about these things in varsity. So it's all about having a
Oh,
vision. So this has
wow.
always been part of the plan. It's not a surprise. It's not one of those that knock you
Mm,
off. It's been something that was in the making. It's been something
sure.
that, I've always been a person that dresses well. It's always been one of those things that
Mm,
are there. But you always have to put a timeline to things. You can't just wake up one morning and start running it. Yes, it's important to become chartered accountants and lawyers and professions, but to build something that will actually live and outlive us is very important for us.
sure.
So we're using the professional, call it careers, to uphold and build for the future. It's important the
Mm,
skill set that we're getting, being a chartered accountant, my wife being a lawyer, those skill sets you need in business. And a lot of businesses or a lot of individuals open a business, but then they don't hire the professionals that actually
sure.
will bring that skill set. So having the
Mm.
skill set and then also having the passion and the love for clothing. I mean, my grandfather used to wear tailored suits, so we grew up seeing it. My mom was
Oh,
one of the
wow.
best, when it comes to dressing up. So it's something you grew up with in the household. You've been seeing it. It's not
Mm,
something that we just woke up and decided to do. It was always part of the plan. It's just that we had to go to school because unfortunately you can't just say, well, I'm gonna move from matric and start opening a business. There was no
yeah.
funds that were just sitting there waiting for you to just run a business. So had to
Mm,
go to school, had to get into the professional, start off, build up that capital, and actually build it up, and to a point where you also have to go and learn, because remember, there's people who went to fashion school while you were busy becoming a chartered
yeah.
accountant. Someone
Exactly.
else was in fashion school learning, understanding it. So you also have to now learn, put in the hours in the evenings, spend
Mm,
time around creatives, understand how creatives think, but also remember this, the biggest thing is that fashion is a business.
it
It's a
is.
$2 trillion industry. And I
Mm,
mean, Africa's just not even at 1%. We're
mm,
probably at like 50 billion odd. So we're not even scraping the surface. So
mm.
that's another thing that we had to know, that, you're getting into a space that the business mechanics, a lot of creators forget that you're actually
Yeah.
running a
Yeah.
business.
Mm,
So the business element of it for us was critical. And we looked at it and we said, look, let's give it a bash. We've got a lot to learn, but at the same time, collaboration is important. We
sure.
believe that we have to collaborate with the best. You have to find people that are like-minded, same principles. And that's how you grow. You cannot do it alone. You cannot be an
Mm,
island. And I think
mm,
that's what's given us the pedigree, because we've worked with a lot of people, we've collaborated, we've burnt our fingers before. Things don't work out at times, and it happens. That's business. I think a lot
mm,
of the times entrepreneurs speak about the great, but there's also the bad. There's things that
yeah.
don't work out. It
Mm,
it does
mm,
happen. And
mm.
that's just the nature of business. And we need to accept that, in business, there'll be peaks and troughs.
Ups and downs. Yeah. True.
100%.
Very, very true. I also want, for you to come closer to now dealing with clients, understanding business. You will never have the exact same kind of customers. They will vary in degrees, in so many different ways. But how do you, okay, maybe let me put this question like this. Have you ever had a situation where you dealt with a client that was, not so easy to deal with? And the reason why I ask this as well is your target audience, your target market, your target customer is high end. So I'm thinking in my mind that maybe the demands might be higher as well. I don't know. Or it might be that you've got people that know what they want, so you don't struggle. I don't know. Give me a picture around that space.
It happens. You've got the two spectrums. You have people walk in, know what they want. You'll get, and I've always said those are a blessing. I mean, 90% of our clients are like that. They walk in, they
Wow.
call, can have an appointment, they're on time first and foremost. They
Wow.
know their whiskey, so they walk into the atelier, they want a specific whiskey. It's those clients that know. You can't, you have to give them the fabric that they want. They want the finest fabrics. It's there. Then you'll have call it a client that typically is an aspiring client that wants to get there,
Sure.
but they've got the funds to spend. However, they will peg you. That client will come in and say, "Oh, but I found someone who can do it for this price and not that price."
Why
And
don't you go
we've
to
got
them?
100%. But we've got this philosophy that says, we're not going to be playing a challenge of who's the cheapest,
Okay.
right? We've got our own mechanisms, we've got our own ways that we work. If you feel that you can find a Drago fabric, so that's predominantly the fabric we use, Italian fabric called Drago. If you
Yes.
find that you can get a Drago elsewhere, please, by all means, go get a Drago elsewhere, because we're selling you the entire experience. You come into the atelier, it's a one-on-one. We understand your needs. We build a relationship. It's about building a relationship. It's actually about giving you the experience more than the actual end product. And
Mm,
you going through that, if you feel that you can get that experience elsewhere, more than comfortable with it, because you have to be unapologetic about your brand. It's
mm,
taken time, you've built it over the years, and it's not being arrogant, but it's very important to know what you also bring to the table.
sure.
Also, clients that are high end, they are demanding. They will hold you to account. So if you say to a client you will deliver in 3 weeks, you better deliver in 3 weeks,
Yeah.
and not take 4 weeks. So it's important also that you must stick to your word. And it's
Oh.
one of those that you've seen also in the fashion industry, that someone will say, I was going to the wedding, I had to give, my tailor the wrong date. We don't believe in that. Everything must be clear. My wedding is on this date. And we actually set deadlines that are a little bit ridiculous on our side, because we'd rather, make sure that you've got your suit in your wardrobe 3 weeks before your wedding. Then
Wow.
you're comfortable with sitting. If you gain weight in that period, it's
Oops.
on you. But we've delivered, and you've got your, and it's important that you deliver, because that person will also give a recommendation. I always believe that you can sell your business all you like, but if
Mm,
people on the ground are not sharing that message and
word
they're
of
not
mouth.
sharing the same sentiments, the word of mouth is always king. So I
Mm,
do believe that it's important that the clients that you look after, you make sure that they feel at home, and when they're with you, they say, I trust this person. You go to your doctor and you've been with probably the same doctor forever because you trust them. They've
mm,
been with you through and that's what we build. We're not chasing having 1,000 clients. We're actually chasing, let us have a community. Let us have people
mm.
who, we look after them, and they can't even buy a shoe without calling you. And that's the level of trust that we want to build.
Wow, that is really, really amazing. Please touch also on the different clientele that you serve. And what I mean is, do you focus maybe let me give you an opportunity to say what can one find when they knock on Decorum's door. I do you cater for women, do you cater for men? Just talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we cater for both female and males, because we realize as well that a lot of females want suits, but it doesn't
Yes,
actually fit the
you need
way
to
it
send me
does.
one also
They don't
on the
fit
house.
perfect. We'll do it, but not on the house. There has to be a part where.
Okay, I'm joking. I'm joking. Yes.
So women go in and they're like, but I like the suit, the arms are not fine. I like the suit, the hips are not fitting
Mm,
well. I like the suit, but it's bulging. There's always, and it's quite interesting that there's always these problems because it was not made for your body. With
mm,
gentlemen, we can get away. If I'm skinny, I can get away with a skinny one. If I've got a kabanyana, I can get away. But
mm,
typically, we saw that there was a lot of problems when it came to the female side of things. So we definitely made female suits as well. and
Sure.
males as well, because a tailor, there's nothing like a tailored suit because it's
Mm.
made for you.
It
It
fits.
literally fits your body to a point that if your body changes, the
It
suit
needs to be
actually
changed.
turns on you. It turns on you, so it doesn't fit you, the owner of it. So it's a great experience for both male and female, young and old. We literally don't even say, you need to be a specific age. We've made it suits for a 3-year-old all the way to a
Wow.
60-year-old. It really doesn't matter what age you are. If you just understand that, it also brings a certain level of confidence. It really does, bring you to a point where you look at it and you say, well, I feel good in this suit. The fabric
Mm.
feels good. We made a suit for a client, Undumiso, and it was, for a wedding before his wedding. And he didn't take it off. It was probably 11 at night. And he said, I've had suits, but having a suit, I don't want to take it off.
It's
And
so
hearing
comfortable.
those words for us that's perfect. That's what we want to get to a point that you don't want to take it off.
Wow,
So
that is
that
really
for us is a lot.
That is really, really great. And I think, sometimes we're not able to understand the difference between one that you buy off the shelf and one that's tailored and that is made for you, made to fit. We don't know the difference because maybe we haven't experienced it. Some of us haven't experienced it. And only once you've experienced it, you're able to actually like differentiate between the two and be like, this is actually nice. And, the price then gets justified as well. I think maybe what I would like for you to touch on as well is the future. When you're looking at your business and your plans around your business, what would you like to see in the 5-year term, in the 10-year term? Like, what would you say would be some signs, that show you that you are succeeding in this business? You're winning, you're achieving your goals and objectives. What are some of those things? Maybe one, two, a couple. I don't know how many they are, but shoot.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's taking it to the next level. Pretty much, I mean, we've got a small little factory that we're running. Get that
Mhm.
factory to a bigger size, employ about 30 to 40 individuals that we
Mm.
know that someone's lives is changing. You've actually got
Mm.
people now feeding a family of 4 or 5, but being a part
Mm.
of it, bringing in younger designers. What we've learned actually, and just watching the market, is to say,
Mm.
the big brands, what they do, they look for the talent. They get the talent, they unearth it, and they bring them in as part of the design team. There's no point in my wife and I being the only designers in the business. We need to bring in young blood, fresh blood, talented
Mm.
individuals that are looking at how do we also bring up, our talents, our skills, and seeing them in future opening up their own fashion houses. I mean, a Tom
Mm.
Ford, for example, used to work at Gucci as a designer, then
Mm.
opened Tom Ford. So you want to see that progression. You want to see the brand going international, selling
Yes.
to international markets, selling to international clients, in the States, in Europe as well. It's very important. Even on Africa, on the African soil, selling into the African countries and not
Mm.
just South Africa. I do believe with globalization, we're at a point where we want to see the brand, I mean, you can sell to anyone in the world. We want to see it being a powerhouse from a global perspective and not just, in South Africa selling to a niche market, but there's
Mm.
definitely more individuals overseas. And who knows, maybe we will see a ready to wear. We don't know. I mean, that's
At
something
some
I'll keep
point.
very close to the chest.
All right. Mphahlela, thank you so much for coming through. But before I let you go, I'd like to give you an opportunity maybe to give out some details, contact information that you're comfortable to share for someone maybe who might want to reach out, who might want to make use of your services, who might even like to support your initiative. How do we find you?
Yeah, we all social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. It's all at Decorum_Stylists. You've got a website, www.decorumstylists.co.za. There's a contact page. You can do an appointment there. We're on Google. So we're literally across the board. So depending on what you're looking
That you're
for, if
comfortable.
you're keen and you're comfortable to come through, let us take your measurements and let's get you into a bespoke piece.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming through. We truly appreciate your time and we've learned a lot from this conversation.
Thank you, Tandi.
Awesome. All right. Mpulapulu Vugani Community.